of order. No. You're out of order. This whole court is out of order.
It's a story of men fighting for something against insurmountable odds.
I'm not a doctor. It's fantastic. It's something that's changed the world. It's totally American.
Takes you back to your childhood and makes your tummy just feel so good, Tony Dunn.
I am the old man of the group. I am the person that is most mature, and I am the only adult in this room, and it's Debate My Take. Welcome to the C3 Debate My Take, folks, where two men with great hair, great takes, two best buds, co-hosts of the longest running Panthers podcast. It's called the C3 Panthers podcast, if you ain't ever heard of it. Best friends go toe to toe. You are the judge. You are the jury, Panther Nation. We will be debating some takes tonight. We got a great show for you as I show down, as I pull out the big gloves going against my main man, Cody Lashney. Welcome back to Debate My Take.
Tony Dunn, I speak softly and carry a giant stick, if you know what I mean. I'm coming to battle whenever there is a battle to be had. And yes, you are one of my best friends. And part of the reasons why I love you so much is because I can debate you every Wednesday night on Debate My Take. And it's fun to do. Tony, I'm ready for another great show. Ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
He thinks he's Teddy Roosevelt with a big stick, but he's more of a teddy bear, as I'm about to dismantle this mug tonight. Now, we got a great show for you guys tonight, as we will be talking about best and worst GM moves. Thank you, Matt FGF on YouTube, for that suggestion. Sam or Cam, best NFL team. Should the Panthers tank, or asked by my good buddy Nick Montiero, and which athlete should be considered the GOATs? So a lot of cool topics to talk about tonight. What we want you to do is jump in that comment section, and you are the judge. You are the jury. Render your verdict as we prosecute our cases to you and tell us just who wins their take, who wins the debate. Smash the thumbs up button, be a part of the community. And you can do that by subscribing to the C3 Panthers podcast and just growing Panther Nation with us. Let's jump in to the debate. First topic for you, my friend, my foe. Best GM move, worst GM move of the 2021 season. This is submitted by Matt FGF, who writes the most fantastic comments. He is the jury. He is the what do they call it? When you're the head juror. Whatever that head juror is that reads the verdict, this guy is that dude. He goes through each of our debate takes almost every week, I feel like, and gives great analysis and feedback. And I promise you, Cody, he does not say you're the winner every time. He does not. But it's a draw. It's a draw. Anyway, best, worst GM move of the 2021 season.
Yeah, so, thinking about all the moves, especially that Scott Fitterer has made along the way, I am going to go ahead and say that the best GM move that has been made to date was the man you see at the top left-hand corner. It is Stephon Gilmore. And even though it's only a short contract, Tony Dunn, I'm here to tell you, man, that when you went out and drafted J.C. Horn with the first pick that the Panthers had in this most recent draft, you got a young stud corner from South Carolina that has the potential to shut it down in front of any receiver that he's ahead of. So in my mindset, not only did the Panthers add a veteran presence in Stephon Gilmore, but if we're able to keep him after this year, you're talking about a veteran presence on the football team that's going to be around to help impart his knowledge on the young cornerbacks that we have on our football team right now. If you look at J.C. Horn, C.J. Henderson, then add Stephon Gilmore to the mix, you are talking about a nightmarish defensive backfield that has all the young, promising talent that you could want, but also that veteran presence of a guy who has been there, who has done that, who has won a Super Bowl championship before. I personally believe that that is a move that will benefit the Panthers down the road for a long time to come, Tony Dunn. And you know what? I think it goes without saying. The worst quarterback move that the Panthers have made maybe ever is trading for Sam Darnold. And I'm sorry, but that was the worst GM move that Fitterer has made. One, not only were there two other options at the quarterback position that were young, talented, coming through the draft, and Justin Fields and Mac Jones, but then you decide to go and kick the third-year tires on Sam Darnold, who has proven himself to be nothing but a bust ever since then. And even here in Carolina, he has lived up to that same bill. There were other opportunities for us to better the quarterback position, and then Sam Darnold was so bad, they had to bring Cam Newton back in the middle of the season just to try and save some face with Carolina Panther fans. We might be feeling the impact of that one move for a long time to come. I hope it's not true. But Sam Darnold, as of right now, is easily the worst move that Fitterer has made as our GM.
You know, a lot of people are excited about Scott Fitterer as he comes in and says, I will be in on every deal. Right. And I think you raise a good one is with Gilmore. It's one of those no lose moves, right? Is that JC Horn goes down, instead of being like the answer is on the roster, you take a decisive action. And the best part about it is if you don't even re-sign him, that you're going to get a higher compensatory pick than what you offered for him. So it's kind of a no-lose move. But at the end of the day, Gilmore has not played a ton until last week, and it's too little too late. So it's nice. Maybe we'll find a way to sign him. But the best move that the Carolina Panthers made in this offseason was actually during the draft, even amidst a bunch of stumbles and fumbles. Believe me, I was not happy with the Panthers draft, but the Panthers were on the right track as they traded their second-round pick to the Bears while on the clock, and Chicago wanted to move up to take Oklahoma State tackle Tevin Jenkins. The Panthers sent the 51st overall pick to the Bears and got back a 52nd and 83rd and a 204th pick as they accumulated 9 picks in the 2021 draft that they could then manipulate and use. This is why this is the best move. The best move was accumulating assets, accumulating capital, should I say, capital, as the Panthers endeavored and embarked upon a rebuild where we were told that Matt Rule and these guys are building for the long term. And as you found other players that you thought were very good in the draft and were able to still accumulate draft picks, it seemed like this was the best move. The worst move that the Carolina Panthers made is by giving away all these fucking assets in the Darnold trade, the CJ Anderson trade. We have squandered all the resources that were acquired for this weird win now mentality. I think both Darnold, but more importantly, the CJ Henderson trade. And it's not even CJ Henderson. You can say, oh, you got a first round pick, or a first round talent, but you got rid of Dan Arnold, who was at least a red zone threat for a team that struggled to put up points. You saw getting rid of a veteran guy in Dan Arnold, and you ruined his career by sending him to Jacksonville after you went and signed him and made him a free agent priority. So you got rid of some good components of your team and you got rid of the capital. That's the problem here. It's not the players. It's not the CJ Henderson. It's not the Sam Darnold. It's the mortgaging of future assets. You were playing Monopoly and you had to flip the card over and take the cash. And it never works when you start flipping them cards over and having to take the cash. Never works. Best move is acquiring assets. Worst move is thinking that those assets, or it's diverting from the plan. All right.
We almost don't disagree too much there. It's looking at all that draft capital sunk into players who ultimately are not going to be a Carolina Panther very long. So we will move on to our second question of the night. And this is a pressing one, Tony. This is on the minds of every Panther fan right now, because it was reported today that Sam Darnold did indeed return to practice. And my question for you, and I'm going to pitch it up to you first, who do you believe should be the Panthers starting quarterback going forward? Should Sam Darnold get a chance back at the quarterback position under center, or do we rock with Cam the man? What say you?
The answer is Sam Darnold.
Oh,
You say what? You say who? You
huh?
say how? I say this is that I'm tired of Cam being scapegoated. I am tired of watching Cam be brought in here to make up for the deficiencies of a broken organization, a broken coaching staff, a broken offensive line, someone who came in here and uplifted their hopes by themselves of a faltering team to save their jobs. And these men don't give a damn about Cam. And I tell you this, I don't want to see Cam one more time putting it on the line, putting his reputation, putting his body, putting his, I guess, yeah, I mean, ultimately his legacy on the line for Matt Fool. This guy brought in Cam Newton, or we will debate. We'll probably talk about this in some of our other content that will be coming out, is who decided to bring back Cam. You guys are using Cam. You are using him. You're calling him up like a late night hoe, like an old girlfriend, trying to get some booty and then toss him to the wayside the next day. I'm telling you this, put Sam Darnold in there, make him suffer with Matt Fool, and let these fools get the hell out of here. Don't ruin Cam Newton at your expense. I told you this before, is bringing back Cam Newton. The problem with this is that the Carolina Panthers trying to ruin his career twice. Trying to ruin his damn career twice. And already the Carolina Panthers offense has been more effective with Cam Newton under center, who doesn't know shit about the playbook or the calls, and where, or at least they say that he's learning. Dude, the Panthers offense has been more potent with him behind center than fucking anybody at this point. He is saving these dudes' asses, and they don't need to be saved, Cody. They're going to pull him down. It's like trying to save a drowning person, man. And you jump out there and you go help them, and they kill you. So you know what? I say this. Screw Sam Darnold. Put him out there. Put Matt Fool out there and save Cam Newton.
Tony, you're going to hurt your back jumping through all those hoops, my brother, because you went through a lot to ultimately say what we already know. Cam Newton is the better of the two quarterbacks. And I've said this on the podcast. If Cam Newton is not able to show some signs of life going forward this year, you do not want to be stuck with Sam Darnold going into 2022. What a way to kill the vibe of a fan base whose vibe might already be dead, Tony Dunn. There is no way fans are going to purchase tickets or get behind a Sam Darnold-led Panthers football team. More importantly, I don't care what anyone says, Sam does not do anything at the quarterback position better than Cam Newton. Cam may not be what he once was, but I'm pretty sure he's as good once as he ever was. And I am going to go with the man who has put his body, mind, and soul on the line for the Carolina Panthers and has done it time and time again. Tony, I know it might not look pretty. It might not have the desired outcome that we want it to have. We already know that. But just like that shirt says behind your left shoulder, we stand with Cam. And I am never going to bring myself to pick Sam Darnold over Cam Newton. I'm sorry, Tony Dunn. You are out of order in this courtroom. Cam Newton is the only answer to this question.
You are letting Matt Rule go into a gunfight hiding behind the Cam Newton shield. When I say let all those fools die together and save and spare my man Cam. The next topic for debate. Who is the best team in the NFL right now? As a season of parity comes about, a lot of contenders, a lot of teams that we thought would be dominant are not as dominant as expected. And a lot of teams that were going to be good are mediocre. And a lot of teams that were supposed to be bad are even worse than we thought they would be. It's hard to pick a standout in the NFL. I'll give you the board first. Who's the best team in the NFL right now?
Tony, it's of course the man with Tom Brady under center. I've been watching Man in the Arena just to pass the time when I have some spare time. I love documentaries, especially sports documentaries. So I've been going back and looking at Tom Brady's career and everything that he has done and looking at all he has been able to do. The fact that last year he went to a brand new football team and was still able to win a Super Bowl. Listen, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are in the playoff hunt every bit as any of the other good teams in the NFC right now. The Green Bay Packers, the Arizona Cardinals, the LA Rams, none of them have a quarterback as cool, calm, and poised under pressure as the GOAT himself, which is a part of our question later on in today's show. But when we talk about who are the GOATs, but listen, man, you might not like it, but Tom Brady has been doing this forever. He's been doing it at the highest level forever. And I have no reason to not trust him starting under center when the game is on the line. Him and Bruce Arians, they have a well-oiled machine down there in Tampa. And if the Panthers aren't going to be able to make it, at least an NFC South bearer is carrying the torch, Tony. I think the answer is the Tampa Bay Bucks.
Interesting, and low-hanging fruit, my friend. You must have not gotten the vaccine, and your dreams are immunized right now. Immunized, as this is the Green Bay Packers are the best team in the NFL with the best quarterback. I know Tom Brady's the GOAT, but he's the GOAT because he's been part of winning organizations. But if we were going to grow quarterbacks in the lab, we would not grow Tom Brady. We would grow the winning part. We would not grow Tom Brady, but we may just grow Aaron Rodgers and his wonderful immunization self, his natural antibodied self with his little broken pinky toe. Look, the Green Bay Packers, man, are a complete team right now with a fantastic quarterback. Rasul Douglas is leading the NFL as a cornerback. They've got a defense now that is formidable. They are 10-3, just along with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Same record here. Same record. But they don't need all this crazy old star power. They just need the man, the myth, the legend, Aaron Rodgers, and an Aaron Jones at running back, and Devontae Adams at wide receiver. These guys are nasty. They are feeling good. And to the point, this is that you can test them on the road. You can test them at home. And when you think they're shook, Aaron Rodgers is cool. He's cool as a cucumber, man. This dude, don't get rattled. He does all the things that you love in quarterbacks. Off-platform throws, lasers to downfield, throwing receivers open. This guy is the man, and I'm telling you, because he is a villain, he's ready to win this year. They have tried to demonize him, and he's going to go out and he's going to take down Tom Brady and the Bucs in the NFC Championship. And the Green Bay Packers are the number one team in the NFL.
There's some good football teams still lurking right now. I think the NFL season is fun. It'll definitely be cool to chart going forward. My heart wanted
honorable mention. Who's your honorable mention here?
Well, all right, yeah, I'll give you that. I'll still say the Los Angeles Chargers. And they're in the wild card chase, but when you look at Justin Herbert and Mike Williams and Austin Eckler, and then you have Bosa on the other side, Derwin James. I love their head coach. That's a dark horse team for me in the AFC. I know they have a bunch of good teams that they would have to face in the Kansas City Chiefs and the Patriots who already beat them. But I'm telling you, man, that team, when they play good football, they look like they can do it all.
My honorable mention goes to the Dallas Cowboys. Another rounded team right there with a lot of weapons on offense, and Dan Quinn's got that defense a cooking right now. Micah Parsons, man, for someone there were some questions. I think we talked about with how he's going to translate to the NFL, not in his athleticism, really having a dominant rookie season. What's next?
Yeah, next, this is a popular one sent in to us by our very own Nick Montero, and it's should the Panthers tank the remainder of that says 2012. I don't know why it does. The 2021 season.
No, he meant 2022.
Oh, he meant 2022.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's a bit of a different question.
I know, and I'm going to take this first.
Yeah, go ahead.
The answer is absolutely yes. Oh my God. I know no one wants to hear it. We don't want to cheer for losers. We don't want the Panthers to have the 6th losing season in a row. But I'm telling you folks, things are bad right now. Things are so bad for the Carolina Panthers. And it really starts at the top. It starts at the top with this stupid ass Matt Fool and this administration or organizational position that they have attacked this rebuild or lack of attack of this rebuild. They have fumbled the rebuild, Cody. They have fumbled the opportunity. And this year is a glowing example of that. We were on the course to rebuilding last year. We were doing exactly what you wanted to do. A team that looked like they were composed, but just didn't have the pieces to win. Then you go into this year's draft and you add some pieces. You think you do something, but you make some big misses. You make some giant swings and misses with this Sam Darnold nonsense. You swing and miss at this offensive line by not drafting Rashawn Slater because his arms are too short. Matt Fool probably said, he can only be a guard, maybe even just a center in the NFL. And this guy's an all-pro left tackle at this point. You have missed out at every turn. But the problem is, I don't know if you're going to be able to even fix it next year. And so what you could do is run Sam Darnold and Matt Fool out there one more time and just strip them of everything. Don't sign no people in the offseason. Trade away your assets and say, sorry, Matt Fool, you a fool, and we done with you. And then 2023, all of a sudden, we have a bunch of fucking money and a bunch of draft picks. And Greg Roman as our head coach, or
Oh.
Eric Bieniemy, or whoever we get. And by this point, we learn if Scott Fitterer is any good or not. And if he's not, then we can even get rid of him and we can blow this thing up and build it the right way. Because right now, Cody, it's going to be hard to build it the right way as we are handicapped here. We're slipping and sliding. We're in quicksand, man. And it's of our own device. We like put the water out on the quicksand to make it even worse. So, yes, is at this point, I don't see why. How do you think you're going to win with another bridge quarterback, a Sam Darnold, or even in the long term with a Cam Newton? We will, at best, be a mediocre 7-win team and still fumbling and stumbling and bumbling. Blow this shit up, but wait until 2023 to rebuild.
Tony, once again, your heart is in the right place, but your mind is thinking the wrong thoughts, because we know that Scott Fitterer is going to be the GM for another year. And what did he already show us about himself in this first draft? That my man is willing to trade back in order to acquire more darts to throw at the dartboard. And you know what? That might be just what the doctor ordered. Instead of having one pick in the first 100 picks of the next draft, I see it being a very real possibility that Fitterer decides to back up a little bit, jump backward in the draft, pick up a linebacker, pick up an extra offensive lineman, see what other players fall to them in the draft. We know that Fitterer, going back to our other question that we started with, he's made some good moves in free agency and the draft, and he's also made some bad moves. But the sample size that we have of Fitterer is still very small. I want to know what kind of GM we really have on our hands. Do we have a real team building GM that can navigate the tumultuous waters of this draft? I want to find out firsthand, and I want to see if he has the wherewithal to be able to acquire more draft capital than he actually has right now. I think that would be a sign that we have one of the better GMs in the NFL, and we have a general manager that knows how to read the room, who knows that there are still a bunch of missing pieces on the Carolina Panthers, and he has a method to get those picks and pieces back. Tony Dunn, the answer to Nick Montero's question is no. The Panthers should not tank. We're done with it. We want a winning football team, and we cannot stand more losing in the bank, Tony Dunn. I will hear no more of it. Let's move on to our final question. Who are the GOATs? The greatest of all time athletes. And Tony, I'm going to go first on this, and I'm just going to be very fast because there's only 3 of them. You might say, what? Only 3 of them? And yeah, that's right. There are only 3 athletes in the world who can call themselves GOATs. Those men are Tom Brady, who has established himself as one of the most winning quarterbacks, the most winning quarterback in NFL history. It is Michael Jordan, who reinvented the game of basketball, took the league by storm, won 6 NBA titles. That man is quite literally the stuff of legends. And the only other man that you can add to this list is Floyd Money Mayweather, Tony Dunn, undefeated 50-0 boxer, never lost once in his life, pissed everyone off because he finessed all of his opponents, never went in for the brawl, made bank, and got out, man. Those 3 have risen to levels unseen before in their own respective sports. And if you're going to be called the greatest of all time, it has to be a club for a select few, and specifically, only those three. Tony Dunn.
Formidable answer. A formidable answer, but not the answer. Not the right answer. One is this, is that who are the GOATs is that first you have to quantify these things based on individual versus team sports, decades and eras, right? There is, I mean, whether it be Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or there's tons of players from the past in their eras that were the GOAT, that have the championships, that have the success. Whether you think of even there's an argument that Tom Brady is just the winningest quarterback, but not the greatest quarterback. Is that some people would say, hey, is that he's not even the best passing quarterback of all time? Maybe a Dan Marino, a John Elway, or a Peyton Manning being that offensive coordinator out there. I do agree that winning, though, matters. I do think you're right. So I do think that, look, I'm going to acknowledge this, is that Tom Brady's the GOAT because he wins more than anybody, homie. So I give him that for NFL. But I don't think that your answer is correct because it's too simplistic. It's just too simplistic. Only three? Only three? How do you even quantify the GOAT of baseball, though, when you have pitchers and hitters and defensemen? It's a tough one, right? I mean, as team sports versus individual sports is a big deal. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you you're absolutely wrong for one thing. You missed the greatest of all time. And I'm a Floyd Money Mayweather fan, homie. So I'll put him as GOAT status. I love him. He's my favorite boxer. He's the best boxer of my era, right? Ali, great, the heavyweight. There's some guys back in the day. Jack Johnson, fantastic, old school. But Money Mayweather is the best boxer, dude. He of my era, because this dude don't get hit. He can fight in a phone booth and not get hit. Never gets hit. People don't like him, though, because he's cocky as shit, because he's awesome as shit, and he don't get hit, and he's a boxer, not a brawler. Right? But I tell you this, you're wrong. You're absolutely wrong. Your list is defunct because you missed the greatest, the best, the GOATest of GOATs, of all GOATs. And that is the great one, Wayne.
Oh, I knew it. I knew that's what you were going to say.
Wayne Gretzky. His name is the fucking great one. That's what they call him. The great one. This dude, by the way, is not only the leadingest goal scorer in NHL history by a whole 95 goals. Right? Jaromir Jagr is over 130 goals behind this mug. And he played for like 70 fucking years, man. Jaromir Jagr is awesome, too. Gordie Howe had 801 total goals. Wayne Gretzky had 894. He had 4 Stanley Cup championships with 3 different teams. But here's where it's crazy, bro. When in the NHL, they say that you get points. You get 2 points for a goal, 1 point for an assist. Wayne Gretzky is 1,000 points ahead of the next guy behind him. He has 2,857 points. And the next guy behind him is Jaromir Jagr, who has 1,900 points. He can't be caught. He can't be caught. He is the greatest. He is the GOATest. He's the GOATest of GOATs. The only reason is that hockey is not as important with Americans, A, and B, is that there's some recency bias when it comes to Tom Brady. We're talking about 80 games a season, bro. This dude is the great one. Notable mentions, Roger Federer, right? Jack Nicklaus, golf. I would even argue Tiger Woods up there.
Many people would even try and put Serena Williams in a GOAT conversation.
I'm ready for that too. I'm ready for
man.
that.
Hey,
you're wrong because you didn't put Wayne Gretzky on your list. That's it.
Listen, I'm a red-blooded American, man. I don't need hockey, okay? I need my sports violent and flashy, okay? Just like the three sports I mentioned.
Hockey, bro.
Nope. I'm a red-blooded American. I don't want to. I don't need to. I'm good with what I've got.
How do you make LA a hockey town? That's how good he is. He made LA a hockey town.
I hear you. Just as long as you know that there's only 3.
You know what to do, folks. You get in that comment section and you tell us who won this debate. You can tweet us at cat_chronicles, at Cody Lack on Twitter, and use the hashtag C3 debate my take and submit your debate topics. Tell us who won this debate. Tell us who you think the GOATs are. Tell us if you think Sam I Am or Cam I Am should start or be the guy going forward with Carolina. Go ahead and support us by telling Cody that he is guilty as charged. Guilty, not the winner. All right, that's our episode of Debate My Take, Cody. We're going to get out of here.
It was good. It was fun.
Let's go check the beat out, bro.
It's a story of fighting. Until next time, Panther fans. Insurmountable odds.
I'm not a doctor. I'm the winner.